going out there tonight?
Well, you stumped me now.
Check out our website, mannimalresearch.com. Thanks to everybody. Hello. How's it going out there tonight? All of you that will be watching this or joining us live tonight, those of you that will be catching it later, we sure do appreciate your support. As you can see, I am flying solo again tonight. My partner in crime, Mr. Walls, is hard at work again, which is, I guess, becoming pretty typical for a Thursday night. All right, guys. First off, I'll talk a little bit more about Walls in a second, but it looks like we're having some difficulty. We have Mr. Barry Webster on tonight of Rez Squatching Research, but he's having some technical difficulties. He showed up, was able to get him on into the broadcast, and then he froze and he's out. So I sent him a message, told him we had about 7 or 8 minutes to get it worked out. So I'm sure that he is working on it. Was really excited about having Barry on tonight, and we're still hoping to. So just bear with us, guys. We all know how this stuff can go. Sometimes you're working with Wi-Fi. Sometimes it could be hit or miss. Anyway, like I was saying about Walls, you notice this is the third Thursday in a row now that my little buddy hasn't been with us. He's been with us on Sundays, but it's not his fault. He's working. He is an not over the road truck driver. He drives a big rig, but he does local runs, dedicated runs. And he texted me a little after 8 and said that he was still in Birmingham, and said, but I can do the show, from my truck, while I'm driving. Every week he offers to do the show from his truck, and every week I have to tell him, no, that we're not going to do that, buddy. And the only reason, that we say that is it's just not safe. I'll give it to him that he wants to be here with us, and like he said tonight, I don't want to miss again, but it's not his fault. And I know him, how big his heart is, and I know myself. I know how neither one of us would take it very well if something happened. If he were to get into an accident and hurt somebody, all because he was doing this show, And one of the things that Walls does behind the scene that helps us, the reason that we work so well together is, Walls, you see him on here, and he's not doing as much talking as I am. He's not asking as many questions, but he's doing all of the behind the scenes stuff. He's looking stuff up for us. He is keeping up with all the comments, and he will send me messages with when someone asks a question, tell me their name and what time they asked it, and then I'll go back through and I'll find it, and then I can share it and ask it. Now that's what makes us such a good team. We work together, and so it makes it hard when he's not here on these shows. But again, guys, he wanted to be here. He always wants to be here, but it's just not safe. He can't read comments while he's driving a big rig. As much as he wants to, as much as he wants to help, he just can't. So then he feels bad about it. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Anyway, all of that being said, still no Barry. Just got a thumbs up from him. Maybe that's good news. All right, guys. If you have not done so already, hit that subscribe button. show us some love, some continued support. Or, I mean, I guess if you've already hit the subscribe button, there's nothing else you can do but spread the word. Tell your friends and family about us. Get them to hit that subscribe button as well. Looks like Barry just popped in down at the bottom, but still no picture. He's trying, though. Give him credit. He's trying to get in here. Anyway, guys, hit that subscribe button, please. When we're done here tonight, head over to mannimalresearch.com. Check out the website. You can submit your encounters there, get information about the group, get information about getting out, doing your own research, and maybe even becoming a member of Mannimal. Love to talk to you about that. And we are also on Facebook, just like every other living, breathing human. Not just American, but human. Seems like we all have a Facebook. So yeah, take advantage of it and get on there. And to be honest, the only reason I'm ever on Facebook is to keep up with this group. Just I don't know. Never really been a big social media guy. But yeah, a lot of people are. I seem to be in the minority there. So you're on Facebook, head over to Mannimal Research and join the group. As always, guys, feel free to ask those questions. And if you do so, put them in all caps, please. That just makes it easier for us to find. Like I was saying earlier, makes them easier for Walls to see. When Walls isn't here, it makes it's more important for me to see and to catch my attention, since I'm the only one here and the only one keeping up with it. So yeah, put them in all caps if you don't mind, please, guys. Also, Mannimal Encounters. I have been slacking a little bit, haven't released one this week, and that's just been because of busy schedule. I've got encounters, plenty of encounters that I can share, and it's coming, guys. I was thinking about what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Friday. Think about maybe doing one after work tomorrow and getting it released. But guys, if you want to share your encounters, and for those of you that don't want to come on a show like this and show your faces live and talk about what happened, and you want to protect your privacy, your anonymity, we can do that for you. And Mannimal Encounters is a good place to do that. It's mannimalEncounters@yahoo.com. Send over your encounters, things that have happened to you, not just with Bigfoot, but Dogman, UFOs, paranormal. If it's weird, send it to us, and we'll rate them on a segment of Mannimal Encounters, and got some pretty good feedback. Got some buddy John asking what's the meaning of life. I don't know, buddy. You are probably better equipped to answer that question than I am. But anyway, yeah, guys, head over to or send your encounters to mannimalEncounters@yahoo.com. It's important that we get them all shared. Like we always say, we don't have one of these things that we can study that we know of anyway. The government might have one, but we don't. So the best way to learn about them is from people that have actually experienced them themselves. So, guys, if you have done that, send in those encounters so we can get them shared. All right. All of that being said, and still no Barry. This is disappointing, guys. Head over to the comments, see who all we got here. Duke, what's up, buddy? Illinois Sasquatch, Kirk, Seltzer. Kirk's becoming a regular. We appreciate it, buddy. Thanks for hanging out with us. Like I said earlier, my good friend, Mr. John Baronchuk. I hope I'm pronouncing your last name right, John. Let me brag on John for a minute. John has become a really good friend of mine. He's a member of Mannimal. We have been on an expedition together. Uh, pretty good expedition. Um, had two or three others scheduled, but on his end or my end, something has happened. It's come up, and we've not been able to get together. But John is a PhD. He is a psychologist. He works with veterans, and just a really good guy. He's an awesome guy, and he just finished up his book. So John is going to be coming on. We're going to set up a an episode for him to come on and talk about his book a little bit. I'm still in the process of reading it. He sent a few people. I'm not really sure. A lot of you people know how it works with authors. They'll send out some copies to friends and colleagues, people like that, to have a read over and then maybe put a comment in the book, and I was one of them that John chose to have do that, and it just is a real honor. So, but yeah, be looking for that. We're gonna have John on in the near future, hopefully. Got Chris Jarvis in the house, Mr. Parkway. He was actually the first one in here. So a lot of our regulars, Rick Wegerson. We've had this conversation before about pronouncing his name. I've butchered it every time. Miss Diana Renee, glad to have you, ma'am. Someone says, "Hey, Barry." One of our Facebook viewers, and guys, I know it's not very exciting right now. I'm trying to give Barry enough time to get in here. We might have to reschedule. As much as I hate to. Let me see if I can shoot Barry a message real quick. Guys, hang tight. Again, I'm sorry. I apologize. Rick says, "Wayne, get a thermal cam." I got a thermal cam, buddy. You got one you're trying to get rid of? So Chris Jarvis says, "Wayne, it happens." I know it. I appreciate the understanding. Oh, Rick. Wife don't know I'm dropping over $2,000 on it. As long as your wife don't watch Mannimal Research, you should be okay, buddy. I don't know her, so I'm not going to tell her. Wow, that's really cool. Over $2,000. Is it a drone? Because I'm pretty sure the around the cheapest, the most affordable drone thermal, it starts around $2,000. It'd be cool. With hand, okay. Still, I didn't spend near $2,000 on mine. My lovely fiance got it for me as a Christmas gift, but it wasn't cheap. All Barry just messaged, said still trouble, still trying. So, guys, is there anything you guys want to talk about? Any discussions? Barry is worth the wait. He absolutely is. Illinois or Dawn. Rick said it picks up over 1,000 yards. Wow. Really cool. Very cool. Mine does not do that. All right, we're going to give Barry a few more minutes, guys. And again, I apologize. We're right at 17 minutes in here, and still having some issues. Duke need to have a tech expert there with him in order to get him on. Duke, do you and Barry know each other? You guys been out any? John said, at the risk of hijacking the New York boys, their guest mentioned two groups, Share and Project Zoo Book. These are closed groups that are standardizing their field research protocols to systemizing their science. Now, John, was that their guest? Was that Todd Neese? I believe I saw they were talking to Todd, and if that's the case, we've got Todd scheduled in the coming weeks, so maybe we can get him on. And well, I mean, he's coming on. Yeah, John said he thinks so. Yeah, we'll talk to him. Talk to him about that. Todd reached out to me and expressed interest in coming on, and he's an interesting guy. Been doing it a real long time. So yeah, told him to be happy to have him. Parkway asks, why the X formations? Anybody got anything for Mr. Parkway? I mean, I'd give you my opinion. I think that they are territory markers. The territory marker, or it could be maybe a warning to other Bigfoot clans or groups. So, yeah, I mean, that's just my opinion. If we could ever get Barry on here, I'm sure Barry would have an opinion on it. All right, guys. You're suck at work, man. I hate that. Why are you suck at work, buddy? Think you're stuck at work. I know. I've already given you the plug, buddy. Oh, that sounded bad, didn't it? I've already explained to everyone what's going on with you. Is a better way to put it, I guess. Uncle says, I think keep out and no trespassing. I would agree with that, Parkway. I think that makes sense. And Duke and a few others are talking about tracks being left. As I live in the Rocky Mountains, finding a spot soft enough for them to leave a track is issue one. Then they have to screw up and leave one there. Track's not easy to find. So this might be a really stupid question, and I kind of know the answer, but is it a genuine consensus that everyone thinks if you find a track, you got lucky because they're pretty good at covering their tracks? Is that the thinking? Hello, Emma Johnson. I'm sure you're just tuning in. You might be a little disappointed. All right, let's. I think we got Barry, guys. Let's bring him on. Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Awesome. Thank you so very much for getting all that worked out. We hung in here waiting on you, buddy.
Yeah, I got a new computer and just it frustrates me sometimes.
I hear that, buddy. We are all good though. First off, let me thank you for coming back on. You were on when we were much younger, didn't have quite the following that we have now. So I wanted to thank you for coming back. I appreciate it, buddy.
You bet. I'm glad to be here.
Good deal. Um, for the people that aren't that familiar with you, you're Native American. Would you mind talking a little bit about the role that the Bigfoot or Sasquatch has that plays in the Native Americans growing up? Like what is it like in your culture? What do y'all learn about as you grow up, and what are some words that y'all use other than Bigfoot?
Well, let me go backwards once. The name we use with Rez Squatching, and even with our tribe, there's a couple names they use, but we prefer to use Sitonga. Sitonga. And I think within any native culture, we're no different. We have, I made a comment one time, and I guess I'll repeat it again. Growing up on a native community and having Sitonga, that's I made a comment one time where I knew about Sitonga before I knew Batman and Robin. So that's how uh, interwoven, he is within our community and our culture. So we learn about him basically at a very young age. So
Okay. What how do y'all see him or see Satonga? I mean, do you see him as as an aggressive being? Is it something that you were brought up to fear or to respect, or what is his role?
Um, you know, I I find that kind of what do I want to? What's the word I'm looking for? I think it's a no-brainer anymore. And I want to talk a little bit about um, you know the way we view him, or if you could rephrase your question again, because a lot of thoughts are in my head right now. Can you re-ask the question?
Yeah, I was just curious, as you know, growing up a Native American, how were you guys as children growing up? How are y'all taught to view Satanga as an aggressive? I mean, are they aggressive, or are you taught to fear them, or?
Well, that's a great question, because to me that was always kind of maybe a double-edged sword. And I don't mean that in a negative way. There was, everybody has their own belief system, but I think as a whole, as a tribe, we were taught that they were hube, which meant holy.
Oh, okay.
And so, which I found out firsthand, that they are very they're blessed with a lot of I'll say it, magical gifts. You know, to be elusive, to I really rode the fence about that. About can they can they cloak or not? And I have to tell you that I know everybody has an opinion about that, but from the start, we've always been boots on the ground kind of research team, and I've experienced all of it. And so, to answer your question, we hold them in high regard. It's a very respectful. Any member on my page knows the approach I take, um, and we learned that from our elders. The teachings passed down, and again, I would challenge anybody who's on my page to question whether our approach is effective. Um, I don't want to get ahead of myself more other than I want to say that we have been blessed, you know, in terms of our encounters and in terms of our approach to this whole subject, our belief system, even I mean, come on, Wayne, you're on my page. You've seen me go out, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Um, Speaking of your page, something that I saw, a post of yours, might have been yesterday or the day before. You had made comment that you were scared for the first time in a really long time on your outing. You want to talk about what happened?
Well, I I'm getting a little older now. I hate to admit that, Wayne.
Well, I am too, buddy.
So I had scheduled. I wanted to go out around 11. That was the plan anyway. But I think supper was. Hello, Diana. Got somebody coming aboard here. Thank you for joining me, Diana. Um, I originally planned to go out later that evening, and supper just took me down in a good old fashioned movie, and I dozed off, and I slept through the night. So that was my bad. Um, but I ended up getting up early, and curiosity always gets the best of me. That feeling. So I went out about five that morning. Might have been a little earlier. I can't remember. But I ended up going out early that morning and to one of my hot spots. And I'm never, I don't know, you know, I can't say that I've never been scared, but it's been a while. I think as we develop this relationship, I never got scared, and I wasn't frightened or anything. I as I think back on that, I think I was getting zapped, and a lot of people had good feedback on that. They said, and I'll say this to maybe kind of sum it up. Uh, Last night I went out with the Hicks family, um, James Hicks and his family, his three children, and I noticed a smaller eye shine below the two bigger eye shine. And so I think there's a juvenile. I think they've added to their group. And so I think maybe I got a little, they were kind of just warning me.
Okay.
And it wasn't and I don't want people to exaggerate this, and I'm glad it got people's attention, but it was more like the fight or flight response. I wasn't ready to jet out of there. I was just basically like, wow, that's different. I felt that fear, and and I was okay with it. I was just like, wow, you guys never done that to me, and now you're doing it. But last night I noticed there's another juvenile in there. So
So
uh,
you more or less just, it wasn't anything that happened. You just had an uneasy feeling.
yeah, yeah, that I haven't had in a long time.
Yeah, I
So
mean, that makes sense. If they got a new little one, they might have been warning you.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
My good buddy Mr. Walls here wants to know, says, do you believe there is a connection with paranormal since they have special abilities?
Do you believe there's paranormal? I believe it's all connected. Who is this? Derek Jasper?
Yeah, that's my partner, the one I was talking about that couldn't make it tonight. He's usually on here with me.
I believe it's all connected. I think you, and this is just my belief based on my experience. I believe there's the introductory period where we used to get bothered by spirits. I had spirits come up in front of me. I've had dark shadows, but I think after a while, and through prayer, you know, um, through my faith, I think those things kind of accept that. Well, here he is again, and I'm not going to bother him. So I don't have too many issues with the paranormal anymore, which is a good thing.
Oh yeah, I'd imagine so.
Yeah.
Um, I got a request here from a buddy of mine, and I'm sure that you get asked this all the time. If you wouldn't mind, would you go over? Oh, here it is, right here. He said, "I would love to hear his portal handshake story again. Would you mind sharing that?"
Wow, John Baranchuk.
Baron Chuck.
Baranchuk. I appreciate that question, John. Um, yeah, I can kind of summarize if you don't mind. In fact, um, actually, during the time, and I got to talk about this I probably talked about this the last two times, a couple of times, um, being that, you know, spring and summer's approaching, and it was probably around April or May, more around the summertime. Um, I knew based on my interaction that was, and really I was actually trying to maybe hang it up for a while. There was some things going on with our team, and things weren't going as planned, and I kind of had enough of the Bigfoot stuff, and so I asked them. I said, I'm bringing a group up. We're having an expedition. We were having a little turmoil within our leadership, And I had asked him. I said, I'm planning to take a break from this for a while, and you know, uh, would you do me a favor and would you shake my hand? I had some very uh, amazing encounters, um, and so I knew that that wasn't out of the that wasn't out of the way to request that, and I knew in my heart that would happen. And in fact, Igor Bursev was there, the Russian researcher, scientist, and actually he fainted, and he'd probably I don't know if he'd still remember that, but that really caused me to worry that night. But him and I had him stand by me, and I asked um, I asked him to come close, and he came up in what the translucent figure. And the neat thing about it is I had a whole team of 10 people, including Igor there. And I suppose he stood about 9 feet tall, and I could see the silhouette in front of me. And I had all the confidence in the world that this was going to happen. When I saw him come forward, I knew it was on. And and I had plenty of encounters with them, close encounters that I knew, um, they were going to come up. I didn't know, however, they were going to come up in this translucent kind of shimmery presence. And luckily enough, some of the team members witnessed that with me. And I basically just said, well, I want to thank you for coming forward. Wiblaha, Uda, I told him. And I said, will you shake my hand? And this the arm, I couldn't believe how long the arm was. And as it came forward, I thought it was actually going to go through my stomach if I didn't reach out and grab, because he was almost smiling when he was looking down at me. He was almost smiling, and I was in awe. His hand came forward, and I thought, I can't believe this is actually happening. So I was so his hand came forward, and I reached out, and I was actually trying to stop. I thought, no way, this hand's going to go through my hand and through my body. And the amazing thing about that, and I forget the gentleman's name. I want to reference him. John, is when I reached out to stop him, I was like, don't go through my body, man. And I actually thought, well, he's trying to shake my hand, so I reached down, and when his hand came forward, this was amazing, man. When his hand came forward, we clinched. I always say clasp. I can't even find the correct word for that, but our hands clinched, but I couldn't feel him. So his hand didn't go through mine. It actually made the correct connection. And then I did it 4 times because we believe in the 4 hills of life. So I wanted to shake his hand 4 times, and my hand did not break. He did not go through my hand. We actually made the physical contact. Somebody. So we shook 4 times, and that was it. I I That was
So
one of my greatest encounters I ever had.
I bet, one of the greatest encounters I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Now, did you feel him at all?
That was a little disappointing. I wanted to, feel a physical, but we we clinched, and I
Mhm.
couldn't feel nothing, but I controlled the shake. He didn't go through me. I controlled the shake, and all he did is smiled at me, and he said, almost and approval saying, there, out of respect.
There are little things that you could pick up on. You can tell when someone is being honest with you, being truthful. And one of those things is, I remember the last time you were on our show, you shared this story and you made the same comment about the hand coming and you thought it was going to go through your stomach. And you just made that comment again. And I think that just adds credibility to the whole thing because it's little details like that you remember that stick with you. And I just cannot imagine just having that feeling.
I
Now,
had Wayne. I had 10 people with me.
did anybody else see him?
Yes, they did. Yes, they
Okay.
did. That's the beauty of it. Richard Soule, who's pretty well known, for stick structures. He was there, and he saw the outline. I had high school kids there. They just joined us earlier, so they actually made the trip. Igor, for some reason, fainted,
That
and
that
and I
says something
thought,
right
man,
there.
this is all I need is Igor for the white world. Excuse me now, for the white world to say, "Oh, Igor died on a reservation. He killed over." And so I got worried, man, and they hauled him off. And by the time we were done, I went back and I said, "Where's Igor, man? Don't tell me we got to rush him to the hospital." And so, that really had me worried because he stood right by me and he was actually singing a Native American song to them while this was all happening. So Igor, you know, he's up in age now, but
Hmm.
I know he felt something. I've never asked him if he's seen it, but I had witnesses that would testify of that.
Yeah, I mean that story is known by a lot of people, and that's an amazing encounter. I want to ask now, where does the portal come in to this story? Did you see him step through something?
I don't know that I talked about a portal. I talked about a portal at a different location, but I
Okay,
did not see a portal during, this experience.
okay. You got him confused. Okay, so what was happening leading up to this? How did you know that you had one in the area? It's close enough for you to ask something like this. What had been leading up?
We went into what I would call a very one of the hot spot, and I have honestly I have about anywhere on the res is basically can be a hot spot, I believe. But I have about six hot spots, and I kind of even rated them. So I was in the Mecca, hot spot, and this may sound boastful, but I can go to that any time of the night and have a really amazing encounter there. And so I kind of put that in my back pocket. So um, that whole month, I think, while I was going out, I was asking them. I said, "Well, during our expedition, I'm going to request this," and I would say it to them. I would communicate that with them, and it was just in my heart. It was the feel. It was the prayer. I knew it was going to happen, and I wanted I wanted witnesses there, and it happened.
Now you're in Nebraska, right?
Yeah, the
Okay.
Huskers whoop on those volunteers now. Let's not go there, Wayne.
I wasn't planning on it.
All right,
I
all
wasn't
right.
I wasn't planning on it. Now, but since you did, Huskers, they've been down a little bit too now.
Yeah, well, we're rebuilding.
Well,
I trust
we
Scott Frost.
we've been rebuilding for 20 years, man.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I can't brag too much. I just know that we whooped you guys.
Yeah, we played one time. I think you got us. It happens.
Yeah,
But you live on the reservation out there.
I
That's where
do.
all your research takes place.
Yeah,
Okay. Now, do you invite outsiders in to take out with you on occasion, or how does that work?
yeah, and I want to be correct here. That's not. We had a little falling out about that. I wasn't gonna be commercial. And today, um, I'm very selective about who comes with me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that isn't something like I just say, hey, for $2.99, come on out. You can squatch with Barry Webster. I sound like Jose Canseco.
Yeah.
That little deal they had going on. That's not something I publicly advertise. It's a feel for me. So I'll say this: that if you feel like you know I just go by feel. If you call me and say, hey, I'd like to go out with you, I'll call. I'll ask you to call me, and it just depends on the individual, the timing. I don't. I love to share, and it all depends. It's a feel for me. So I want to make that clear that I'm not trying to be, get rich off this by no means.
Yeah.
Trying to stay busy 24/7. It's a spiritual thing for me, and it's something. As I look back, something we worked hard for as a team.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you had the chance to say that because we took a little bit of grief as an organization early on when we come up with the idea to take people out to some of our hot spots, and we don't have the reputation that you have by any means. So we caught a little bit of grief about doing it too. So we backed off on doing it, but we didn't expect to get rich by any means, and it was going to be a way for us to just to further our investigations. To buy better equipment, upgrade our stuff, and stuff like that. We were all going to sink it all right back into the group. So yeah,
Let me. You said something. Um, what kind of reputation do I have according to your?
in my opinion, you're very very respected. Everything that I've heard about you, everyone says Barry's the real deal, and just think that you have a connection with these things. And I've talked to several people. I mean, you look at the people that we've got in the conversation tonight. I mean, they're all speaking very highly of you. So that's the kind of reputation you have.
Okay, so if I click over comments, I can see those, huh?
Oh yeah, you
Oh,
should.
okay. There it is.
Yeah, they're all praising you, man.
Wayne, you want to challenge? Ask Barry to pitch some horseshoes with you. All right, Pappy Two Bears is on here, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you're pretty good at the horseshoes.
Oh man, if I set my mind to something, and I think I'm just wired that way. I played college basketball, and I was a dead eye shooter. And so
Yeah,
just got that hand eye coordination, and I'm looking to crack that 80%, man.
and you know this guy, don't you,
Who is that?
Duke?
Oh, yeah, I know that guy, man. Even me, World
Duke,
Bigfoot Radio.
Duke's been on with us a couple of times.
Has he?
Yeah, he's a buddy of mine. Me and Duke, I like Duke. He's been on a
Hey,
few
Duke.
times.
Hey, Duke's my brother, man.
Yeah, I asked him before you came on how well you guys knew each other. He said that y'all talk from time to time.
Yeah, yeah, we do. I love him,
What
man.
what on the expedition where you shook the hand was Janice Carter there?
Was Jan? No, Janice wasn't. In fact, I think Igor and Robin McCrae are coming here
Okay. Because
shortly.
Janice and Igor are pretty tight, aren't they? They're pretty good friends.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I've had Janice on a few times. I've actually been out in the woods on a camp out with Janice.
Really,
Yeah,
really.
she lives just 30 minutes from me. We're practically neighbors.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody suggested that and asked me if I knew. I've never spoken with her. I about maybe 2 months ago I spoke. I finally spoke with Robin. Robin is just an awesome person.
Okay. Who's Robin?
Robin McCrae,
I'm not familiar with them.
Haynes, I want to say Hayes. Yeah, just a
Yeah.
great person. Her and I talked for about an hour.
You know,
Actually,
it's interesting. You almost got your chance to talk to Janice tonight
uh-oh.
because while my buddy Walls, my partner Walls, couldn't make it when he told me he couldn't. I reached out to her to see if she wanted to fill in for him, thinking that you guys knew each other. So, but she was busy, didn't get back to me. I'm sure
Oh,
she
okay.
will though. Yeah,
Yeah,
Janice is an awesome person. Been through a lot with the big guys. She's
yeah,
pretty impressive herself.
yeah.
All right. So what else has been going on with you? What kind of give us an encounter that's happened pretty recent that maybe a lot don't know about.
You know, I've been I've been quietly.
I've heard
Um,
nothing but good things about Barry. Well respected for sure.
Boy, thank you, Andy Jones. You know, I we take great pride in representing, my people and not straying from what our strengths are. We try to stay aligned and really it's about, hey, Caveman Yazi, Randy Yazi, Caveman, how you doing, brother? I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Um, so there's a lot of people on here. Um,
Yeah, yeah, quite a
the,
few.
recently, and sometimes, I maybe I get inspired to do something, but lately I haven't had that feeling, about challenging myself. Um, I know that what's really interesting, especially for the Hicks family, they came up from Okima, Oklahoma,
Hmm.
to squatch with me, and they're just a wonderful family, and I really enjoyed their company. Um, they said something last night. They said, Barry, we loved every minute of it. And we were talking after we got done and we wrapped everything up. And he said something interesting to me. Well, they both did. They said, they asked me the question of how long did it take for you to develop this relationship with them?
Great
Um,
question.
Meaning, when I get to my hot spots, all of a sudden the eye shine comes about. And they were fortunate enough to witness that right off the bat. They were just blown away by that. And so I could probably talk about last night. Um, but you could what's really interesting, you can't hear it on my phone, but you can actually hear them moving, and that just blows your mind. And for me, I guess I'm used to that. But I noticed some of the kids, the high school kids, their kids that were there, they were just trembling, and sometimes I don't always know that somebody's going to be scared, and so I turned around and I said, you okay? And he said, no, no. He said, I want to go back in the car. And I had to calm him down like a nephew to me. But I think the most recent get back to your specific question, um, has been just sharing. I've been sharing, and people want to experience this. So to me, that's really important. About sharing this gift or this blessing with other people. So I haven't. So to answer your question, I haven't really had, you know, something major. And I think if I go by myself, you know, so here's the challenge for myself. I've been thinking about this is I want to actually see if they'll come around the fire with me and maybe
Okay.
share a meal. Now that's just a off the cuff comment, but I think that's something I may challenge them and myself to do. So
That would be cool. That would be really interesting.
yeah, it would. And so anyway, I could go way back. I could go, back to some of my greatest encounters, but recently I've been just kind of, and what's really cool about it is they they'll give enough eye shine to just show my guest. And I realize that takes a lot, because I could never get that. And the last I checked, I don't see a lot of people doing that, you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So your guest last night actually got to witness Ashan?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They heard a little rumbling. Um, and what I love about that the most that if you come on there you don't notice is that they're real calm, and they're very they understand, that they need to take it easy, and be respectful, as is we are, you know. So it's kind of without noticing, what you give is what you get, you know.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah,
shows that.
you might have answered it and I might have missed it, but the question that the gentleman had for you last night, how long did it take for you to develop this kind of relationship with them?
That was a question that was asked last night, and I would say anywhere from 6 to 7 years before I actually started to get just really, well, that specific relationship, that one there.
Six to
Um,
7 years of how frequent? Like how many days a week?
I would say 2 times a week. I mean,
Okay.
I'm going out tonight, okay, and I bat 1,000, in a couple of areas. It's almost as if they're waiting for me, and they
Wow.
know we're coming. So you heard it. I bat 1,000, and then that's not even trying to brag. I think the people that follow me know that that's true.
Let me ask you this: since how confident are you? You just said that you bat 1,000. If I were to make the trek from Tennessee to Nebraska and go out with Barry Webster to your hottest spot, are you confident that I would have an interaction?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I read this. Probably depends on how good your cooking skills are, Barry. I'm sorry. I lost you, man. But I heard you though.
Yeah, like what could I expect if I were to make that trek, however many hundreds of miles out there, and to go out with into the woods with you, just the two of us? What could I expect?
Well, that would depend on and these are great questions. Um, if 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 I felt like it, I would take you to probably my hottest spot, brother, just so you could really. I had he's almost like a little brother to me, Lalo Morales and Hector and Randy Becker. Now those guys had one of the greatest encounters, man. We had 5 of them walk up to us, and I made these guys stand in a line with me, and we gave each other good space when we started. And by the time I got done talking and they came up over the hill, I was squished like this. They were standing, I don't think they realized how, and I don't blame them. You know, they were scared. They were in awe. Any one of them could come on here and testify of that. And so it all depends, Wayne, you know, and it's a feel for me, you know. So I
Fair.
don't know if that helps.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair response. Um, got a question here from Illinois Sasquatch. If you attempt to establish a relationship with Satanga, is gifting an important part of that? Great
I
question.
Yeah, I think so. Illinois Sasquatch. I think so. If you go back on our Facebook page and you go back and you'll see some of the gifting we did. I um I got to give my sister Linda Joe credit. She was always big on that. She she's got other responsibilities right now, so she don't go out with me as much or if any at all anymore. But she was big on you know what was it, apples, oranges. She always made sure she got them fruit. And I really can't say what works or what doesn't. All I know is that I've established this spiritual aspect of it. But I think it's very important. Anybody that's listening out there, please do it. And it's just for me, I'm not gonna say there's this perfect roadmap if you follow Barry Webster's advice. Some of this stuff has to come from you, and you have to figure that relationship out and experiment. And that's the beauty of it. You find what works. That
That
makes
that
sense.
that's the best advice I think I've probably ever heard. Right there, and that's very, very true. Yeah, to just do what works for you. Experiment, try things. That being said, what as far as gifting food, what have you had the most luck with?
You know, I started doing the I can't even, I call it Squatch Bar now. It was a yellow box. I used to do it was in a clear package. It was kind of a single clustered chocolate bar. I can't even remember what it's called now.
Okay, so
But
it's sweet.
yeah, that's what I used to use. And I never had them come out and just openly grab it.
Hmm.
But I knew this, that I went back a week later, and because that stuff, I've had people say, "Why don't you put game cams where your hot spots are?" And I'll tell you right now that there's been a covenant I've made with them verbally, that I've said, "Listen, I promise I won't do this, and this, but here's what you have to do." And so there's been that kind of dialogue, that's happened between us. I have no reason to deny any of that. So, and
Now, the covenant that you made, does that pertain just particularly to trail cams, or is that any kind of pictures?
yeah, one time, in fact, one of my relatives, Deej Redhorn, she wanted to see through my thermal, and I have a thermal, and I said, yeah, we can do that next time. So I brought it out, and I was excited for her and her son. So I got it, and I came out, and he was lit up big time. And I said, yeah, here. I said, it's charged. I was excited for her, and I forgot about this agreement we have. So I put it to my eye, and I said, yeah, there he is right there. Then as soon as I put it up and it focused in on him, I got this like this warning, and they turned and they were shocked, like, whoa. I said, I said, I said, wow. I said, sis, I said, I'm sorry, but I vowed that I wouldn't do this. So they let me know right away in front of my sister and her son. and they were just shocked. I said, I'm sorry, but I told them I wouldn't do this.
Yeah.
So, that was interesting. Man, there's a lot of questions, brother.
Yeah, they're starting to come in right. Always happens right here at the end when we're running out of time. Here we go from Mr. Duffy. Do you think they are always in the physical? Any evidence in interdimension? Mr. Duffy missed our handshake earlier. I think he came in late. But do you want to hit on this, any Barry?
I had and I'm gonna find that SD card. I think I'll put that on YouTube. I had one walk up to me about a foot away after this was early on when we started, and so I think there's a lot of cloaking that goes on when they need to, but I think that they prefer to stay in the physical. I really do.
Yeah. There's one thing that I've never really understood about, if they do have the ability to go through portals and other dimensions and cloak and stuff like that. I mean, we have evidence of we find hair. I myself have found hair in the woods. We've found scat, Bigfoot poop. We've seen people have reported seeing them hunt deer and grab deer, and so they have to eat, they have to drink, and they poop. So they're physical. They're physical beings. Why do we find that stuff if they can travel between dimensions? That's just something I don't understand.
Yeah, I'll go back to one of our teachings growing up. Is our elders didn't understand. There was this old traditional belief that, oh, you don't go down there or leave them alone. And I challenged that a little bit, and I said, well, wait a minute, I want to know some truths here, and I'm a God-fearing man, so I asked God to help me find the truth, and I believe I found, those truths. So uh, again, I get off track sometimes, but I think for the most part, our ancestors spoke the truth a long time ago, and that is their hubei. God blessed them that way, with those abilities, and that's all I need to know. I'm not trying to study that so much that I want to be able to say, here's what happens here, and here's what happens chemically and physiologically, and I don't care about all that. All I know is that, from my experience.
Yeah, you're more interested in the spiritual aspect of it. I would imagine.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's interesting, and that can be a fine line sometimes, the spiritual and the scientific.
Oh yeah.
But all right, buddy, we've gone over an hour a little bit. I know it took you a little bit to get to us, but somebody's not happy there.
Yeah, my grandson.
Is that a grandbaby of yours?
Yeah, sure is. Come on. Here, let me introduce him. Let me
All
give
right,
the crowd something to.
bring him on.
Come on. Anthony, what are you doing? Anthony, sweet me. Yeah. Hey, he's right here.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Say hi. Hi, buddy. Tell him hi.
What's your name?
Anthony.
What's your name, buddy?
Anthony.
That's awesome. My first granddaughter was born a little over a month ago.
Is that right? Well, congratulations, man. Welcome to the club.
Thank you very much. Love her to death. She's rotten. All right, buddy. Again, I want to thank you. I appreciate it very much. You coming on. You've got an open invitation to come back.
You betcha.
You want, buddy. I'd be happy to have you.
You betcha. Thank you for having me. And his name is Anthony Julian Fremont. And
Anthony. Yeah, next time you're on, you got to bring Anthony with you.
yeah, you can believe that he's going to inherit everything Grandpa has. So
Very good. Very good.
he might even take over when I'm gone. So hey, man, thank you. Thank everybody out there for the questions. I see a lot of questions. It just it's been a blessing. That's all I can tell you. Um, we took the approach of uh, who else could you ask for the truth? God and the Holy Spirit. So
Right.
it's worked for me, and I encourage anybody. So hey, look up Rez Squatching. We'll have apparel coming out again. So thank you, Wayne. Good luck to your volunteers. Go Huskers.
All right, buddy. You have a good night, okay?
You too, man.
See ya. All right. How awesome was that, guys? It was well worth the wait. As one of our viewers said there, Barry's worth the wait. It sure was. Really, really good episode. I enjoyed that a lot. We always learn so much when Barry comes on. He's a class act, the real deal. Really, really is. And I'm serious. I would love to take the trip up to Nebraska and hang out with him for a night, get out in the woods and experience what he's got going on out there. It would be great. All right, guys, and a lot of what Barry said at the end there, all the praise, the credit goes to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Just thank God for everything that He's done, and when it's my opinion, what keeps me going, keeps me looking forward, going forward, moving forward in this endeavor, and looking for these big guys is. It's my opinion that these things are just another one of God's creations, and it's a creation of His that we don't know a lot about, and it's my goal to learn as much as I can about them and share that with you guys and with everybody. So we'll keep moving forward, guys. I want to thank everyone for coming in, hanging out with us tonight. I sure do appreciate it. Love you guys. You guys are awesome. Can always count on you. Sure do appreciate it, guys. Y'all be good to each other. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next.